श्री राम जय जय राम ओम 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 श्री राम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय 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 राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. 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 Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om Swamiji, pranam.
Pranam, pranam, pranam.
Hari Om, pranam Swamiji.
Pranam, pranam. So what is to be shared today?
Trayon Path, Nama Dhyana Seva.
Trayun Path Naam Dhyan Seva.
Nam Dhyan Seva we can interpret as bhakti, karma and jnana. To know him is jnana, to love him is bhakti, to serve him is karma. So Papa brought in this triune path so that a combination of these three will ultimately take us to the goal. The goal is, I am to become one with him. Chanting, we can take it, no? It can be interpreted in any way. This is how we look at it. Because bhakti means it expresses through chanting, number one, glorifying his attributes, so here when we chant, we are trying to remember him. Papa gives importance for chanting because Papa gives importance for bhakti. At the same time, karma and jnana, they have their own relevance in our spiritual journey. Dhyana is an attempt to feel his presence inside. Jnana is to remember, chanting is to remember him, and seva is to put it in daily practice. So when we give thrust for love aspect, devotion aspect, through chanting, it helps us in these two departments. First we start with jnana only, chanting only. As soon as we enter this ashram, what we hear is the chanting of Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Whether we know the meaning, whether we know why it is being chanted, we all enjoy hearing it and then later on chanting it. Start thinking. The first day you all came to ashram, in good old days, there was no morning to evening chanting, so it's 12:30, 11:30 to 12:15, and 8:30 to 9:15. That chanting, chorus chanting. Even if we are away from various activities or this thing, somehow we will find the ashram bhajan hall is full at that time. Later on, so that is the foundation. An inexplicable connection is built. Of course, we agree it is only during that time. Then only we remember, if it is not supported by seva and dhyana, we will not be able to sustain the same tempo. So as much as possible, this devotional aspect wells up in our mind. That is why Papa in all his writings used to say, chant with this faith and devotion. This is the word he uses. Faith and devotion. Bhakti is built on faith and devotion. No? We don't question unnecessarily. We know God is there and God is behind. God is the CEO. So we have to remember him. We have not remembered. The moment we are involved in activities, we forget him, so we must remember him. Somebody says, we have faith in that. When our Guru says, we have faith. Unquestionable, unshakable faith. And unless we translate this in our daily activities, we will not be able to sustain it. After 2 or 3 days stay in ashram, when we go out, how do we sustain the same tempo? Because during the chanting time, we try to develop the devotional aspect. But that is comparatively less in our daily activities. So this to love him is to be maintained, That is why he said outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. So whatever we handle, whatever we come across, whatever we face, we should not forget about this, Otherwise, what happens during our stay in ashram, we feel happy. The moment we get into the auto or taxi and try to move toward the station or airport or bus stand, we are back to square one. So manana and reflection also is necessary to keep up the same tempo. That is why he slowly introduces along with the chanting. You are chanting the name of one who is within you, who is making you to chant. Because in our outer activities, is the me and mine, yes, doership is there. I have to run my family, I have to attend to the field of profession, I become a member of the society, This is very much there. So how do I bring in? It should be compatible, nice to say, nice to write. How do I ensure? So there we need constant reflection, and then at the same time, not merely reflection, a intense effort to translate this in our all activities. We fail. That is why periodically we resort to satsang. Because we are not steady. The moment we go out, our usual norms, they overweigh. Though somewhere in the heart it is there, it doesn't come to the forefront. We immediately react based on the impulses or instincts or whatever previous experience or preconceived notions. So this is something on which we have to watch ourselves. What is happening to me? And again, when we fail, we feel that we have failed. We again pray to him. Again, the devotional aspect comes, not the rational aspect. We pray to him from the bottom of the heart. Why don't you please enable me to get over this weakness, get over these minus points, which disconnects me from your thought. So during our activities, we try to bring in as much time as possible. We may fail, we may forget, but without getting discouraged, we should keep on trying. That is the message Papa says. And most essential, when we keep on doing these two, a constant effort also should be made to go within. That is why in one of his quotations he said, devotion by itself is not the whole thing. Knowledge by itself is not the whole thing. Karma activities, dedicated activity is not the whole thing. We should combine all these three. Though there is an upper hand for devotion. For the past 3-4 days, he was insisting that we should concentrate upon this, how to become one with him. So with that perspective, we will try to go through the triune path. With that perspective. Previously we were doing it because that is the routine. Every day before we retire to bed, everyone will have some sankalpa to do so much of nama. So now we will try to bring in this dimension. Papa, you brought these three in your sadhaka life. And you placed it before us. But somehow we have not been able to understand that. We all have love for the name, we chant the name, everything is there. But whether the urge to become one with him is there or not, we cannot say yes or no. At times it comes, no doubt, but not sustaining. But the triune path is meant for that. Because at the opening of this ashram, you specifically said, based upon the vision of divinity, we love all and serve all. Initially, we did not understand the vision of divinity. First, we thought some supernatural, no? Divinity means. Now, slowly you are opening up that what you wanted was the common factor that is in all of us. So, to remember that, you are making us to chant. So, this triune path, I think those of us who have not been able to connect it to the ultimate goal of becoming one with him, those of us, we should try to make it more effective, no? By bringing in these dimensions. But my usual habit is there. The moment I start chanting, all these dimensions may not come. So again, you have to step in. So now our prayer is, now that you have made it clear that my ultimate aim is to become one with him, the triune path should also be pointing out towards that. Because that is the only sadhana I have been trained, I don't know any other thing. And since you have scaled the heights through that, we don't have any doubt that one day we will also be able to scale the heights. So now we are trying to how to energize, how to vitalize the triune path. That is why probably this question, what is to be shared, though we all know about Namseva, why again this was pointed out? Probably the purpose should be that we should go and see for ourselves whether our following the triune path is taking place properly, in the way in which it should be done, or does it lack anything? Does it something else to be included? And the greatest assurance is nothing will go in vain. whatever we have so far done, it will not go in vain. It will be a plus point only. To become one with him means not in the sense that he is separate and I am separate, I should become one with him. To become one with him means to become one with all. That's all. That means am I getting out of the me and mine? Am I in a position to broaden my love circle, to embrace the whole people, embrace the whole creation, mentally? Physically it may not be possible. So here comes the inspiring life of Papa Mataji's. No? Yesterday evening also we were sharing with somebody about Mataji's. So many things again she reminded us. So that we will not think that, how to become one with him is not something where, I as an individual and him is a separate entity are becoming one. How does it get translated in our life? Broadening. In 60 or 61, when she went to Bombay, Papa has written in her God experience, she was given 250 rupees then. Immediately she changed it to 5 rupees and started distributing. What was it that made her to do that? No? And when she went to Bombay, on those days, when Ashram was finding it extremely difficult to make both ends meet, lot of money poured in. But when she came back, what she handed over to Papa was only 500, 600 rupees, something like that. And when Papa checked it up on those days, she had received more than 6,000 rupees. We are talking about 60. Big amount, very big amount. Even then, she did not think in terms of ashram. Whoever is there in need of it, she was able to identify them and pass it on without anybody knowing. So how to become one with him means she is teaching us by her life. Keeping nothing for herself, even to the place where she built up this ashram. No? Naturally, though not for selfish purpose, we will identify ourselves with a place, where we have been associating. But we find, even that attachment is not there. Because if that attachment comes, that means we are not broadened. When they were preparing for the global tour in 1954, Puja Swamiji has written that she was collecting all warm clothes and, So Swamiji asked, it's a allied country we are going, why should you think about it? There are people who need this. And Puja Swamiji has written, she has her own ways of identifying such needy people and distributing it. Instead of just praising or feeling grateful to Mataji, elated by Mataji's approach, it gives us a teaching, It actually teaches how to become one with him. So now we have to ensure that Nam Seva Dhyan is for, there's a beautiful quotation of Papa, The last board of the centenary. Hmm? No, we have it here. In PPT we have. In PPT we have. You can find out where the PPT is. Somewhere it is here. Boards. Centenary boards, 40 boards. In PPT. Video it is there. Video, no, we have to go to the last.
Papa's words is only.
Toils of individualism. Ah. Last board. The soul which is imprisoned within the toils of individualism now attain the bliss of perfect freedom. How to become one with him has been beautifully brought out by this. The soul which is imprisoned within the toils of individualism now attains the bliss of perfect freedom. So when he has facilitated for us to take to this triune path, we pray to him. I keep on chanting, but I am still I have not been able to get out of this prison, the self-created prison for me. The soul which is imprisoned within the toils of individualism now attains the bliss of perfect freedom. So my Nama chanting should be for that. My Seva should be towards that. My Dhyana should be towards that. And here also we get a clear-cut picture of how to become one with him. Inside, when I close my eyes, I identify with the static spirit. When I open my eyes, I identify with the dynamic spirit. When I close my eyes, I identify with the static spirit. When I open my eyes, I identify with the dynamic spirit, which can be possible only when the small me and mine comes out of it. The soul which is imprisoned within the toils of individualism now attains the bliss of perfect freedom. This has been quoted in the last board. Those of you who have attended the centenary celebration will remember that there were about 31 boats from Mangalore to Mangalore. So when he came back, Papa's journey that started from Mangalore came to a full circle as he finally reached the Panchapandava caves near the town. To sum up, it was a journey that began in the background of frustration and utter restlessness, ended in the state of peace and serenity in God remembrance. So from the me, yes?
You mean, in spite of being an individual, we expand ourselves not to feel limited to individual. Is that correct?
I couldn't hear.
Maji, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So in spite of being an individual,
In spite of being an individual,
physically,
physically,
we we don't, we expand to spiritual level even in our day-to-day activities.
That is what we have to keep on thinking. We are finding it difficult to expand, So we have to find out by ourselves. That is then exactly the soul which is imprisoned within the toils of individualism. What method should I adopt? What more dimension should I bring in along with my triune path? Probably many of us are not concentrating upon the triune path. We may be chanting for some time. But this seva and jhana, probably it would not have been prioritized by us. Maybe that could be one of the reasons. Because when you say everything is known intellectually, but when it comes to the practical life, we are back to the square one. That means the individual, is the individualism that's there. So that means even while chanting, we think we are chanting, I have to attend to this session. I have to do my mala today. This is how we involve in ourselves. Nothing wrong in it. But we have to add some more dimension to it, Today, before I retire, I must do this much of mala. Good. Initially good. Later on, no. We have been asked to do that he is making me, I am chanting the name of one who is making me to chant. I am chanting the name of one who is within me. So we are trying to free ourselves from this sense of individualism. So now what we have to do is, we have to go exactly in line with Papa's. I am chanting the name of one who is within me. I must do some reflection, Some reflection I have to do. I am chanting the name of one who is making me to chant. So I free myself from the sense of agency. If I practice it during my chanting, slowly my dhyana, my reflection, my jnana path will enable me to realize if he is making me to chant, he must be making me to see, he must be making me to hear, he must be making me to think. So all my sense organs are working because of him. Slowly we reach this stage, within the toils of individualism. When I have imprisoned myself, I am trying to now get out of it. By keep on, auto-suggestion, by keep on hammering to myself, I am chanting, not that I am chanting, I am made to chant. Then, whatever he has so far taught us during satsangs, when he said life is the expression of Atman, so who is making me to chant? The life. Like that, whatever he has talked to us, it helps us now to free us from the feeling that I am chanting and to feel that he is making me to chant. So this word of Papa, the soul which is imprisoned within the toils of individualism, now attains the bliss of perfect freedom. That is becoming one with him. Nice to hear. Even after hearing it, I am back to myself. I know that. But he is...
Can the toil be considered as seva?
Huh?
Toil can be considered as seva. Toiling can be considered as seva.
No, so long as we feel there is a sense of freedom from this.
Yes.
Only that person will know,
Yes,
Ah.
cognition is important.
It is person, absolutely. We can interpret it in any way. But the idea is the sense of agency hands over his assumed role, doership, to the real doer. I may not be able to do it. I can try, Today, that is why this question has come. How to bring in this dimension of becoming one with him in my triune path, which I am 100% clear about doing it. And I have been doing it. What sort of adjustment I should make again? Even to understand that I should become one with him, that is the result of all that I have been doing so far. Probably he was trying to groom me to finally know that all these things are for becoming one with him.
Sure, only with his grace.
Only with His
Only
grace.
with his grace.
Only with His grace.
Grace also, we should not think that grace is outside. The very fact that we are talking is by His grace only,
Yes.
So grace is there is no denial about it. So,
But the toiling also is only with his grace, isn't it?
everything.
Yes.
So one practical suggestion we can see from the lives of all masters is that even from the tiniest, we try to see that. In the grosses, probably we may not be able to see now. Tiniest. Becoming one with it, If I keep the sandals or chappal in an orderly way and in a haphazard way, I am not becoming one with the chappal, na? When I take a glass of coffee and when I drink it and if I don't wash it properly, I am not becoming one with the cup. So I am, just start thinking, when I cook, when I serve, when I go to the office, when I do my work, if I become one with the work, okay, otherwise that means I should become one with the work. So becoming one with all means I should whole-souled involvement. So becoming one with you means becoming one with everything, where the sense of agency stays apart. When somebody is in trouble, if the mind gets agitated, I am not in a position to do, but I should do something, that means I am becoming one with that. A patient is suffering, we cannot do anything. But suppose we become one with that patient, it won't be superficial. So becoming one with all. So when I chant Ram Nam, if I become one with the chanting, if I become one with anything that I do during the non-chanting time, so this dimension we have to insert.
Yes, Swami.
I should become one with it.
Yes.
Practical. When I say Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, nothing else except the chanting, no? Nothing else. I become one with the chanting. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. When I practice in chanting, I will slowly try to extend it to anything that I do. That is why in In Quest of God he wrote in the last page and the outpourings, where is sweetness it is in thee, where is bitterness it is in thee. So the pairs of opposites, as such, they are not there, because we become one with it, We give a label only when we compare it with something else. In Guru's Grace, when Mataji wrote all the pairs of opposites like this, we were reading it. That means the labeling takes place only when the sense of agency is there. When you become one with it, there is no labeling, It is not that the sweetness becomes the bitterness or bitterness becomes sweetness. When he says sweetness is in thee, bitterness is in thee, it is not that it gets converted into, no. We become one with it. So that means the labeling will not be there. The sweetness of the sugar cane was there even before it was labeled as sweet. The bitterness in the bitter gourd was there even before it was named. So at that time, what was the taste? That stage. Prior to the labeling state, what it was? So we are trying to understand with Nama Dhyana Seva the real meaning of becoming one with him. We need not think when we say one thing, Nam Dhyan Seva is to become one with him, in the sense he is separate from me. So as an individual, when he makes us to do chanting, when he makes us to involve in various activities throughout our waking state, when he gives us the fleeting experience of going within, when we become one with that means totally getting involved in that. When we free ourselves from this individualism, we become one with. That is what is aimed at. So now we pray to him now. You have taken one more step, made us to take this one more step. That while chanting, now I know why I am chanting. I am chanting to realize that I am not there. Chanting takes place. During that period of chanting, I am not there. During all my activities, I am not there. During my inward journey, I am not there. That stage I should reach, Papa. Because so far, because I was feeling I am to chant, I am chanting, I have to chant, the same thing is extended to all the activity. Though at some level I have an idea that God is within me, He is making me to do that, all those are at the thought level. Because as a matter of discipline, every one of us will have a sankalpa to do so much of nama every day. It is natural, no? Without that we cannot move on. Suppose now, all right, if I feel like chanting, I will chant, no. So every one of us will have a sankalpa. And instead of thinking that I have made the sankalpa, we should know that you made me to have a sankalpa. Probably we might be able to bring in that dimension. We have to try and see for ourselves. Now let us get more and more clarity about it. Triune path is the path for us, number one. And the triune path has made us to reach the stage where we try to understand which are the areas where we have to improve. And triune path has made us to develop the receptivity to know that the end and aim of all my spiritual discipline is to become one with you. And now a stage comes that even the act of chanting should become one with him. Even my handling anything during my waking state, I should have whole souled. That is why we say called perfection. No? Nothing else matters here. Exclusive. So I will aim at that. I may not be able to do it straight away. I will aim at that. At least in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 activities, I may be able to merge myself, which is not something unknown to me. When I cook, there is a concentration. When I serve, there is a concentration. Because I look at this thing, I become one there. I am not there, but I am bothered about how people I am serving, the way in which it is served. We are not throwing it from the ladle. We are doing it with love. So this is not a new thing for us. When we type out a letter, when we draft out this thing, whole soul is there, then only we get the joy there. We know that. But we are not stretching to our spiritual discipline. Now we have to stretch our spiritual discipline. Now you think back what Mataji said, this is Papa, that is Papa. Becoming one with it. Even a glass, even a asan, even anything, she will say, this is Papa, this is Papa. We got confused, some other thought may come. But now it is 100% clear now. When she said that this is Papa, this is Papa, this is Papa, idam Papa, adam Papa, idam Papa. That means there is no me there. Identifying ourselves totally with everything, With this clarity, we will try, With this clarity, we will try in Nam Seva Dhyan. Rest of the things probably we may be doing it. Probably not with this dimension. But we become restless if it is not, even we get irritated when somebody is not doing like that. In a haphazard way. You remember Papa's words? 3 things. Half-hearted?
Clumsy.
What does it mean? If you go to the Speaks Ramdas and if you go through the work, his words will be there. Everything here, minutely. Now we are being taken now to get more and more clarity on all the words. Every now and then we are trying to get, because that we are ensuring that the mind is not interpreting. Clumsy, half-hearted and slipshod. I was trying to, that was the one word. We will read that. Ramdas does not want anyone to lead only a contemplative life. One must also serve one's fellow beings in a selfless spirit. Love thy neighbor as thyself does not mean that love should be felt in the heart. It must be shown also in action in the form of relieving distress and rendering help in all possible ways. To serve man is to serve God. In Karma Yoga, work is done as worship. Then alone it gives joy. It should be done as perfectly as possible with great care and love, and never in a slipshod, clumsy, irregular, half-hearted way. The inner beauty must reveal itself in the outer context. This particular word, the inner beauty, he, reveal itself in the outer context. This is becoming one with him. So now I should ensure that whatever I do from morning till evening, if I can keep up these 4 mantras, never in a slipshod, clumsy, irregular, half-hearted way. Straight away we may not be able to do it. If somebody is evaluating, we might get 10 marks, 15 marks, 20 marks, like that, 100 marks straight away, we may not get it. The equipment has not been trained. So now that the equipment is made to commit, that it should never be in a clumsy, slipshod, irregular, half-hearted way, it will try to ensure that whatever activities are done with perfection. It should be done as perfectly as possible, with great care and love. That is what he meant by divinizing the work. Do not renounce work, but divinize work by doing it in full submission to the will of God. Do not run away from the work given to you. Do it without ego sense. Become willing instruments in the hands of the divine and cheerfully do the work, without any thought of the work. Work, be a detached witness of the work. So now we get some idea, no? How to bring in this dimension. We will try, We will try our level best to bring in this dimension in the triune path. Because that is the path which is okay for us. We are comfortable with that path. We have done something, but the only thing is certain improvement, fine-tuning is necessary. Otherwise, we also know that because we have not been able to become one with him. The feeling that I have become one with him has not come to us. Though I am one with him, tell me.
Papa has taken us back to basics.
Back to basics. Papa is taking back.
Yeah. Every now and then it is necessary, So immediately after the session, whenever we are involved in any of the work, silently we try to watch ourselves whether there is a whole soul involvement or a partial involvement. And during that whole soul involvement, after the whole soul involvement, we watch how it was done. Have we been able to get out of the toils of individualism? Very good. Every day he is trying to bring in new dimensions. When we read his own words of wisdom, we try to get more and more clarity, which are practical, not all talk. That is why in that poem he said, I see my God everywhere. That is why, nothing is taboo. That is why he could declare world is God. Because this individualism, the labeling entity in us, the labeling entity must be somebody, we have learned that label, that has prevented us from freeing ourselves from the toils of individualism. Now he makes us to think that, though whatever that goes out of our body, we have aversions, we don't take it. But when the same thing is in our body, we don't feel the aversion for our body, Whether it is in the form of stools, whether in the form of urine, whether in the form of phlegm, whether it is in the form of sweat. We are carrying, all of us are carrying in our body, Suppose we use a container, we use a bucket or a mug or anything to clean when somebody has vomited or somebody has passed through, somebody has passed urine without control. In the old age it happens, when the prostate problem comes, they are unable to control their urine. So when we clean it, we have aversion. We will not use that particular jug for something else. Hey, whatever. Whereas you and I are carrying it, no? So logically I should be feeling that. But do I? So I am trying to understand what is happening to me then and outside. Only when it goes outside, I develop that aversion. When I carry it myself, I don't get aversion. Papa used to say, when you bite your tongue, you don't take any action, disciplinary action against your teeth. Because both you are identifying as yours, So in our body, at the moment, we identify ourselves totally with whatever that is there in the body. So when he says bitterness is yourself, sweetness is yourself, all these pairs of opposites is yourself, we can also see it, yes, he makes us to see it every day in our life, about which we are not conscious of, that's all. The moment it comes out of our body, we find it difficult. Our own, forget about somebody's. Please think about it. These are all food for thought he is giving. So we started with asking about triune path, and then slowly he made us to know that so far we have been doing it probably with not full clarity of the goal to be scaled, and the goal is becoming one with him. And even while developing this thought flow along with our Nam Seva Dhyan, we are trying to find out whether Nama goes on, but in the Seva and Dhyana, are we bringing this dimension? Number 2. And if I don't practice it in Nama chanting, while chanting, that I am chanting the name of one who is within me, who is making me to chant, when I step out of Nama to the Seva attitude, I will be following the same rules. So where I have to do the fine tuning? And becoming one with you means becoming one with all. Let all these thoughts, with all these thoughts, I don't mean the thought only, we pray to him now.
That is ultimate.
Enable me to kindly become one with everything that you make me to do. So that becoming one with everything becomes a natural process in me. Not that I have to do some extra efforts. And Papa's that quotation, one line quotation. The soul tries to free itself from the toils of individualism. So the me and mine, when I say I am chanting, I have to do this much of chanting, then only I will be able to progress in the spiritual path. Initially all these are valid. But now a stage comes when the I should be I should be able to know that when the chanting takes place, nothing else comes in. Chanting only goes on. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om So with even if we are doing 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour every day, let us all pray to him to make us totally involved in chanting. Because that's the laboratory. And if we are successful there, we will be able to stretch ourselves in any activity that we are doing with that bhavana. So we will pray for such total involvement. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Pranam Swami. Namaskaram Swamiji.
One more step towards him. Hari Om. Hari Om.